we react to react. So Max did a random YouTube tier list, a video tier list on tier lists, and in its timestamps, like there's Max's own tier list. Okay. Wowhead, Icy Veins, random YouTube tier list. We're at random YouTube tier list, and I think we're at minute 51. Sunshade sent this.
Like, so I think we're pretty
exactly.
much good. Was there any other prominent tier list that was intended to be serious before the race came out? Dragonflight range DPS tier list. Oh, look at them. They're like, dude. Oh, that's cool. Is it father-son?
Well, it's actually
I think it was
father-son. The meme continues. It never ends. It never ends. Plus, also, this is like, I think I can look back at it now and see kind of how it turned out in the end, meta-wise.
It's father-son, right? Just two bros being bros? Brothers? I can't tell. They're homies, friends.
Brothers. Hey man, we're brothers, man. I mean, we probably have different mothers, and looking by the genes, different fathers too, but you know what? One of them grew to be 6 feet tall. The other one kind of stopped halfway because
I finished all my broccoli.
Yeah, finished all my broccoli. That was also with milk and cereal.
Yeah, they could be a lot of things. I mean, it'd be cool, whatever, but like just friends. Okay.
They can be a lot of things. That felt like, you know, a little bit pissy. Let's not go into like dangerous waters here, dangerous territories, you know.
Boys and gals, and you know what that means?
The guy on the right is the dad. No shot.
Did you finish your homework, man?
What a fucking banger. What a banger opener.
Better believe it.
That is epic as fuck. It looks like a Raid Shadow Legends advertisement.
See, you get time?
Raid Shadow
Wait, are
Legends.
they about to do a Raid Shadow Legends advertisement?
You should rename this Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh, they're not. They're not.
Asking for this since we've done a lot of like.
Let's see.
Actually weird.
So this is range DPS tier list. Ooh. I don't know about BM and C though.
Okay,
There's only
the
6.
asset that we put on top of our actual tier list. That was like the one that.
Yeah, so this, well, when we did this was the how it looked like from Mythic Progress. When you looked at the logs in Mythic Progress, this is how the specs were kind of distributed in terms of performance and bosses cleared. I think this is the raid run, right? But that was like, when was this? December, right? This was like super old, so it obviously changed as you go through Mythic Progress. The rankings kind of changed, right? Maybe, I don't know, maybe some of the better groups had I don't know, elemental shamans in, and some of the worst groups had fire mages. I don't know, stuff like that.
Stays old too. And Arcane in C. MM's pretty fucking
Yeah,
good.
see, that's the point, because if you looked at the logs when we did this tier list, Arcane was super poor in terms of performance overall, right? It's like super overall, super disclaimery, and we all know that Arcane is probably the #1 caster right now, right? I think Arcane is still #1 caster. Do you consider Marksman a caster? I guess Marksman is just range DPS, right? MM hasn't been bad a lot, but
Ellie
let's see what
Shaman
this
in
is.
A? Devastation Evoker in A? No shot. No way. This cannot be right. And especially if they're looking at like average rankings, right? 'Cause, like
I watch a bunch of Max's stuff, right? And I kind of like his take because it's a different perspective than what we have. It's coming from a ritual first mindset, right? It applies differently, but it's also interesting to kind of see where he's coming from. But like no shots thrown at Max whatsoever. He skipped right at the end, man. He did not listen. Well, obviously, he was probably never going to listen in this type of content, right? But he kind of does what most people that comment on our tier list do. They just skip all the way to the end, which I guess that's fine if that's what you want. But what he skipped to was not the actual tier list. And before we actually put that image on screen, we actually, you know, tells like this, what this means is this, right? He never listened to that. He never watched anything before that. He just skipped right to the end. And this is fun, right? Because he's doing a video, and that's actually really cool. But the funny part is that everybody else does this too. Everybody else does this too, and is looking like, oh, why did you put Arcane in C tier? You don't know nothing. You're not playing the game, and it's hilarious, man. Because nobody watches anything anymore. You just pick and choose the 2 seconds that you want out of the video, and it's like, that's it. These guys know nothing, man.
You could, I mean, looking at
Arcane was S in heroic because the heroic logs were more well-rounded. The heroic logs had pretty much every spec probably clearing Razageth at the time when we did the research for it, whereas the mythic logs had probably like 2 or 3 bosses done at the time. I think it might have been even mid-race to world first, so not even everybody was logging at the time. I could be wrong, but I'm sure I disclaimed it right, and Marcelian also disclaimed it right back in the tier list video, so that's fine. But the thing is, people don't listen to that. They just look at the image and it's like, wrong.
All bosses on any difficulty and at any percentile is not going to give you the full picture. You kind of want to segment it to certain bosses and be like, okay, this is single target. Okay, this is AoE, but cooldowns are like never like exactly lined up, right? Like,
okay, see, this is perfect. What he's saying right now is perfect. In order to get an accurate depiction of any type of rankings, you need more conditions and more context. What are you exactly ranking the specs by? Overall performance, that's kind of what we go for, is like overall feeling, right? Which is not going to be conclusive to a spec's actual power, but you need actual conditions. Is it, are you bringing the specs for these boss? Are these specs specializing in single target? Is this an AoE spec on Terros, right? It's really hard to kind of understand like what spec is better than everything, which is why we have like 10,000 disclaimers in all of our tier list to kind of give people the right assumption and the right expectations. Like, listen, even though we put Arcane into C tier, Arcane is not necessarily a C tier, it's just how the numbers look. The most concrete and irrefutable context that we can put in our tier list in terms of our research are the numbers. It's not our numbers. We don't pull them out of our butt. It's in the Warcraft logs analytics. That's what we pull out, right? And that could be wrong, but that's what we're going for, because you can pick that, or you can pick something totally arbitrary like the best single target specs in the boss, or maybe we have a raid which is like Vault, which is like only one single target boss in a lot of AoE fights, right? And then every other spec that's super excels at single target that might be like king on Terrace is going to be overall ranked lower than everybody else. Does that mean that that spec is bad? No, that just means that that spec probably doesn't excel at AoE, right? So we could have like a gazillion types of reasons why we rank everything, so we just chose to go for by overall performance and overall progress and parses and stuff like that, which is like a very universal way to look at performance when we do tier lists. That's why we do them the way we do them. They're not 100% conclusive, but I guess that's the most conclusive as you can get. And obviously that changes, especially in the context of progress, where people are still figuring things out, where people are still getting loot and tier lists and all of that stuff. This is the kind of like, what is it, 5 to 10 minute video disclaimer on tier list that we should probably have for every tier list that nobody listens to anyway. So the points that he's making right now are very good, and that's the reason why you cannot have like one tier list, one video to rule them all. One video that if you just watch this, you get all your info. It's never gonna be that way.
No like perfect boss to see anything, except for like single target bosses. But even then, the kill times can be fucked.
He's looking at heroic anyway.
Though, well, so you look at heroic at like 50th percentile, you're going to see certain classes go up. If you go to 95th percentile, you're going to be certain classes go up and down.
Look at that, holy killing it, man.
That's definitely not right. All right, I'm pretty much good with this tier list. So final rankings, Growls.
Yeah, well, the big boys MDI pushers, it's no surprise there. He put Tettles. What is SA? I don't know what SA. What that is.
SA swap bass.
Brilliant, but this is fun. But he has some really good points, and he's pointing out some of the reasons why it's really hard to make like 100% relevant and accurate tier list in any type of content. And even M+, like maybe M+. So I think I've looked at some of the videos that Dorky and Growl have made over the years, obviously Dranos as well, when it comes to M+, and they're putting it from the perspective of pushing the highest and highest of keys, right? We cannot really do tier lists like that, because if we do that, then people would play only like the 7 specs in the game and that's it. because that's what gives the highest numbers, and maybe that's it. So whenever we're doing tier lists, we're kind of looking at all the specs played and seeing it's like, okay, not a lot of people play Affliction, because pretty much the better range players are probably going to play Marksman, so that's just kind of how it is. But if we don't do an overall assessment of the entire meta, then it kind of skews it to always the same 5 specs, the same 6 specs, and that gets boring considering that we do tier lists every week. We kind of have to find like a formula where it's interesting to watch because there's a reason to watch. There's more than just, oh, is Pro Warrior still the best tank? Ooh, surprise, surprise. Pro Warrior hasn't been there for two months. It's always gonna be S tier, you know? All right, nah, this is fun. This is fun.
Mythic plus healer tier list.
We're in the random YouTube tier list. I don't think you can see this because of my camera. Can I move my camera? Give me a second. Because he has timestamps. We're random YouTube tier lists. Hey, we're working our way there. One day we will be an actual named timestamp on Max's video. One day at minute 27.0 seconds, Marcelian&Flame M+ DPS tier list will showcase on Max's video. React, king, an hour-long video. Yeah, we cannot watch this on stream. It's a little bit too much.
I've been loving it then, I still love it now. Still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. Getting better every day, let me show you how. Cause still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. It's getting harder to stay, but at the end of the day, it's a guilty pleasure, so just log in and play. Whether it's classical retail, I'ma do a /bow. Still, I play WoW.